Hey everyone, Andrew Castro here, and we're looking at the PDx from Discmania. If you want that overstable distance driver that's going to be able to stand up to winds, this could be a disc for you. Hey everyone, Andrew Castro here, and we're looking at the PDx from Discmania. This is one of their overstable distance drivers, so let's take a look at this thing and see what it can do for us. First thing I noticed when getting one of these in my hands is that it feels really nice. It's an 11-speed driver, so for me, it's something I'm more familiar with. I don't throw 12 speeds because the rim is too wide, so the 11-speed feels really nice. And the plastic feels really nice, not too stiff, not too flexible. And there's just a small dome on this. They're not board flat, but overall it feels really nice in the hand. I have a PDx in my bag. I use this as my distance driver that I can depend on to have fade. So this is my overstable distance driver that I throw. And when getting out on the field, it's really nice throwing these. When throwing them on a hyzer, it's just gonna hold that hyzer shot. I throw these anywhere to around 300 plus. Probably maxing out around the 350 foot mark, but in this field I'm throwing it right around that 300, 320 foot mark. So on a hyzer, it just held that nice forward glide and then finishing off and dumping out over to the left. When throwing these flat, it just had a nice forward glide, punching, really cutting through the wind, and then finishing over to the left. And when throwing these on an anhyzer, it had just a very quick little thought about turning, and then it just flattens out. Again, nice forward flight, cutting through the wind, and then that dependable fade over to the left. The fade on this isn't a crazy meat hook fade. It's a nice forward punching fade, which I really like because it's very reminiscent to a PD, which is a staple in my bag. So for me, this is just a faster version of that. I also got to throw a few additional utility shots with this. So I throw this every now and then on the course with sidearms. So when throwing this out on a sidearm and getting it flat, it just has a nice forward flight, really punching and again cutting through the wind and then finishing back over to the right. And then when applying a little bit more of a hyzer release to that, it just comes back over a little bit quicker and spikes into the ground and is very dependable as far as that fade over to the right for the sidearm. I also got some forehand rollers, and when throwing this on that forehand roller, it still had the stability to keep the disc up straight and allow it to cut through all that grass and just keep going forward and then eventually sit down. Overall, I really like the PDx. Again, this is already a disc I have in my bag, and I use it for those overstable distance shots if there's a little bit of wind, or if I really just kind of want to crank on it, or crank on it and give it a little anhyzer to get as much distance as I can, and I still want something to fade over left. This is the disc that I'm reaching for. I don't really throw PD2s too much, or destroyers or anything like that, because that rim is too wide for me. So the PDx is really comfortable for me because it just feels nice and natural in the hand, and the flight of it is, like I said, something really reminiscent for me around PDs. So it's just a faster version. So for me, it just means I could put a little bit more on it and expect to kind of have the same properties of what I expect, from a PD. I get that now out of a PDx with just a little bit more distance and reliability in those windy conditions. Overall, I recommend checking this out. If you're a beginner to intermediate player, this is going to be a nice disc to have. If you are looking for something to fill that slot around the 11 speed and you don't really throw destroyers or PD2s or anything like that, this is a great disc. It's going to be very reliable in finishing over to the left if you're backhand, or right if you sidearm. For advanced players and higher, if you're already throwing PDs, this is just basically a faster version of it. So, it's going to have a dependable fade, and it's going to want to just punch forward in the air. This isn't really your overstable meat hook, but this is something that will get you distance and allow it to fade back over to the left. So, yeah, guys, the PDx, I love it. Go and check it out. It's one of their newer discs as well. They're consistently reinventing the game, and giving us new tools to work with. But go ahead and check out the PDx and check out some of the other stuff from Discmania. And yeah, guys, hopefully you get out there and play some disc golf. So have a good one. I'll see you later.